Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
This Orion Township shopping center, the scene of an ugly incident caught on camera.
She got the gun on me. Holding it with the car. Call him.
The video now going absolutely viral. An argument and guns drawn. The sheriff's office weighing in. Who was right? Who was wrong?
Sean, today, day one of a 90-degree streak that could be the longest that we have seen in more than 30 years. We'll see how long it's going to hang on.
All right, Ben, but we're going to begin at 5 with a major uptick in coronavirus cases in Michigan. Today, 543 new cases have been confirmed, and that is the largest single-day count since May 29th. With that comes word of 15 more deaths, though important to note there, 13 of those came from a review of vital records. But this increase comes as thousands of people, of course, want to head out for the holiday weekend, Kim.
And comes less than 24 hours after the governor shut bars back down. We want to get right to Dr. Frank McGeorge to help give us some context and also a report on another major development. Doc, though, let's start with those numbers.
Well, Kim and Devin, I've been watching the 7-day moving average for the past couple of weeks, and there has definitely been a consistently increasing trend, specifically over the past 2 weeks. Honestly, I'd have to say today's larger increase is significant, and it really highlights how close we are to a real resurgence and how important it is for everyone to take precautions seriously, or frankly, the governor is going to be doing much more than rolling back the reopening of bars. Now, today's other major development is actually a study out of the Henry Ford Health System suggesting a benefit to hydroxychloroquine in treating COVID-19. Now, of course, this is after the FDA rescinded its emergency use authorization of the drug and the World Health Organization stopped evaluating the drug after an interim analysis did not find any benefit. Here's how Henry Ford's study fits into that backdrop.
The study was published in the International Journal of Infectious Diseases. It looked retrospectively at over 2,500 patients treated in the Henry Ford Health System between March 10th and May 2nd. It broke them down into 4 groups: those who received hydroxychloroquine, both hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, and those who received neither. The study found 13% of those treated with hydroxychloroquine alone died, compared to 26.4% who were not treated with hydroxychloroquine.
And what we think was important in our study is that, or in our patients, is that patients were treated early. And for hydroxychloroquine to have a benefit, it needs to be given before the patient suffers some of the severe immune reaction that can occur with COVID.
82% of the Henry Ford patients who received hydroxychloroquine received it within 24 hours of admission, and 91% within 48 hours. The researchers believe this is one reason for their different results.
When different studies have different results, it doesn't mean that it's entirely inconsistent. Differences in patient population, the timing of when the drug is given, the dosing of the drug, these all can provide differing results.
At Henry Ford, hydroxychloroquine was dosed at 400 milligrams for 2 doses, followed by 200 milligrams twice a day for an additional 4 days, a different dose than other studies.
Now, because the emergency use authorization has been rescinded by the FDA, the researchers said hydroxychloroquine is not being used to treat patients in the Henry Ford Health System. Now, going forward, they do believe it should be studied further.
Yeah, Frank, I know you have talked about taking part in a hydroxychloroquine study at Henry Ford yourself. Is this study related to that one?
No, that's actually the WHIP COVID study. That's looking at prophylactic use of hydroxychloroquine, basically preventing you from becoming infected. And I actually finished taking my 8 weeks of study medication quite a while ago, but they are still recruiting for that study, important to note.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you for more news coming up a little later in the broadcast. Frank, thank you. All right, now to our other top story. A short time ago, the Oakland County Sheriff announced charges in the incident where a woman pulled a gun in an Orion Township parking lot.
You see this rather shocking scene unfold on cell phone video with the barrel of the gun pointed straight at the camera. We've just learned that woman and the driver of the car have been charged with felonious assault. Sean Lay following this story, and there's a lot behind the pictures. Sean.
And we're learning a lot at this 5 o'clock hour. The man and wife are husband and wife. Their names, Jillian and Eric Wustenberg, both armed with guns. Both guns were loaded. Both are from Independence Township. We just spoke to the Oakland County Sheriff. He says what we're all about to see right here is sad, that there's so much tension right now in society.
She got the gun on me, holding me with the car.
What you are looking at taking place at 6 last night in this quiet shopping strip in Orion Township outside of a Chipotle on Baldwin Road. This woman from Independence Township, her image is now everywhere, drawing her weapon and chambered around, pointing her weapon at an African-American mom from Pontiac and her 2 teen daughters. The gunwoman's husband, also armed, calling 911.
I feel threatened and I'm leaving this area right now.
The husband of the family from Pontiac facing that gun was driving to the scene. He is a Detroit police officer and he called 911.
My daughter, there's somebody just pulled a gun on me.
The woman with the handgun was briefly detained at the scene but let go. But just moments ago, she and her husband were charged.
I want you to do the police.
She's very ignorant.
What happened? The mom and daughters, angry at the couple, accusing them of bumping into one of the daughters. Charges of racism were being yelled. It seems like before pulling the gun, the woman tried to de-escalate the situation.
I care
Why
about
did you say
you,
sorry?
and I'm sorry if you
Why
had
did you
an
say
incident
sorry?
that has made
If you
someone
bumped
make
into
you
her,
feel
why
like
did you
that.
say?
Then threats were made towards the woman's husband.
Yeah, I said it. You say something, I'll beat your white too.
As the couple tried to back up their van, there are thumps from the back of the van.
I'll beat your
And that's when the woman gets out and pulls her gun.
You gonna shoot me?
Get the away.
Oh!
I guess my plea is please let us all try to be that voice of calm in the storm.
Back here live, what Sheriff Bouchard is talking about is de-escalating everything, not sweating the small stuff. This all started with a bump coming in and out of Chipotle. Now, both Jillian and Eric Wustenberg are being held in jail right now. Eric Wustenberg is a Veteran Affairs official with Oakland University. Oakland University just sent me this email saying, we have seen the video that we all just saw. We deem his behavior unacceptable. The employee has been notified. His employment has been terminated by the university. Guys, we tried to get in touch with them earlier today. No response. Now they are locked up tonight. Will likely face a judge tomorrow. Back to you.
Well, and Sean, one more anything here, any charges, I guess, for the mother or daughter?
The mother and daughters who are facing that gun, no charges, not now. They are cooperating. They spoke to investigators again today. The sheriff does say, we asked him if threats of violence were being made that we can hear in that video. He said the prosecutors will take a look at that, but right now, no charges. We tried to get in touch with mom. We are told she is terrified at this moment and lying low.
Yeah. All right, Sean. Kim.
Well, if you are looking to beat the heat and head up north, maybe, you sure aren't alone. Check out this shot of the northbound side of the Mackinac Bridge. It's packed with cars there, as you can see, but we are told that some construction is playing a role here. But still, it's going to be busy, and as we are making our way into the hot holiday weekend, that is for sure.
Yeah, heat wave has arrived right on time, Ben.
Yeah, day one today, we officially hit 90 at 2:01. So if you're scoring at home, go ahead and put a mark in Thursday because we're going to continue adding to that as we get later into the forecast. 87 is where we sit now, so we've backed off a bit. Alpena is actually warmer than us now, 93. Humidity is still not terrible. It's noticeable across our portion of the state. It's going to go up a little bit tomorrow. But as far as the thunderstorm activity goes, there is some in the UP at this moment. You can see that line across northern parts of Wisconsin into the UP. That's sort of elongated further off to the east, and that will sink down near us tomorrow. It's a pretty weak wave, but it's really our only chance of seeing precipitation until the middle of next week. Here's what the rest of tonight looks like. Any clouds that are out there are going to move out. We'll go down into the 70s. And of course, we're going to crank that heat up again tomorrow. How many of these 90-degree days are we going to put together? We'll check that out. And also some good chances for storms next week in the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Guys?
The rain. Okay, thanks, Ben. More staggering numbers today show the rate of coronavirus infections is higher than it was just a week ago in at least 45 states.
And in the hot spots, hospitals are nearing capacity. Workers are being sent home just weeks after coming back to their jobs. One of the hardest hit areas right now is Texas, and that's where Jay Gray is standing by. Hi, Jay.
Hey there. Good evening, Devin. Good evening, Kimberly. Look, a big concern not only here, but across the country. Large crowds that could gather this holiday weekend, which for many starts actually tomorrow. Officials pointing to the spike in cases now as they pause the reopening process and urge everyone to stay home for the 4th. A rush to save lives in hospitals across the country as the U.S. marks another single-day high in new COVID-19 cases for the first time over 50,000. States from coast to coast freezing or rolling back reopening plans. Businesses and restaurants locked down, many struggling to survive.
This is the livelihood of my father, who has started with nothing, came into this country with nothing. And I cannot, it's too hard to let it go.
Beaches are closing for the 4th of July holiday. Summer lines instead, stretching from coronavirus testing centers, some for miles.
This is all complicated by the fact that we have 50 states going in 50 different directions. We need a national plan, a national response for this national crisis.
On Capitol Hill, congressional hearings focus on supplies and a potential vaccine, while President Trump continues to downplay the spike in new infections.
The crisis is being handled.
The president claiming his administration has saved millions of lives, blaming China for the spread of the disease and making just a passing mention of what he calls best practices.
That includes face coverings, social distancing, testing, and personal hygiene. Wash your hands.
Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden with a quick response.
America has more reported deaths and infections than anywhere else in the world.
Numbers that many fear will continue to climb. Now, doctors continue to say a key to stopping the spread of this virus is testing, many now stressing that loss of smell could actually be a better indicator than fever for those who have the virus but aren't showing any other symptoms. In Dallas, Jay Gray, Local 4.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Much more to come on a Thursday. Let's check in with Larry Spruill.
A local mother grieving over the loss of her 4-year-old son.
And I hope y'all rot in hell, y'all whole family.
I'm Larry Spruill, and I'll tell you the strong message she has for her son's killer.
All right, Larry, also it's one of Metro Detroit's most popular destinations, but one very important thing you need to know before you visit the Henry Ford. We've got that coming up. Hank.
Surprising new unemployment numbers just released, but how could these numbers affect your unemployment benefits moving forward here in Michigan? I'm Hank Winchester with that story tonight.